Hello. Okay, today I wanted to talk about something that a lot of people I see complain from, which is to say, I don't understand. I took this picture and my subject came out too dark. And we're going to talk about lighting at length across multiple weeks, but this is something that's really easy to display with the camera, so I just really wanted to go over it for this particular week's chat. Sorry, I haven't really thought about this ahead of time, which is why I'm mumbling so much. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to explain to you is how the chip inside the camera works, because that's basically what determines what the colors of each of your images. So what comes out light, what comes out dark, how your colors turn out. Everything is determined by the chip, and the way the chip decides it is how much light it gets, and then it basically looks at all that and draws a particular image, quote unquote. So the important thing to remember is to say this chip is basically what it does is once it captures the shot, it looks at the full range of light it has in there, all the colors, okay? So if there's something really, really, really bright in the image, let's say the sky, which is really bright because it's in the middle of the day and there's a huge sun, it's very, very bright. Well, what'll happen is it'll take that as white, okay, which is the one extreme, and then basically it'll go from that white extreme all the way to the black, okay? So if there's something that's actually really more like my skin color, let's say, which is light actually compared to my hair, it might be that my hair is on the black end of the spectrum, but my skin color, even though it's very, very light, it's so much darker than this bright white sun that it actually comes off dark. And I'm going to display this to you with the camera. You can see it really, really well because the video camera does the same thing. So right now you're seeing me and I'm relatively clear. Now right behind me is a window, okay? And right in front of me there's actually another window. So I'm going to turn my camera right now toward the window so the window is right in front of the camera, okay? It's the same as taking a picture with the sun. So as you see, you'll see that as I move, I'm getting darker and darker and darker. Here, look at me. Really dark, okay? The reason this is happening is because, see, the back is really, really bright. That's light coming in. And if I bring the camera closer so you can't see as much, I look a little bit better. But if I move back and the camera sees all that light coming behind me, my face looks really, really dark. Okay? If I move over so the light's coming from the side and what's behind me is not as bright, then suddenly I'm a little bit more clear. And as I move, you'll see me get clearer and clearer. And if I sit down and I'm in front of that other window, see, here I am, all clear again. Okay? Because now the brightest thing in my photo is almost me. Okay? There are things that are behind me that are a little bit bright, but they're not like shining bright like this is. Okay? So this is important for you to remember, because as you're taking a picture, you should look around and say, okay, what is the lightest object right now? If the lightest object is a lot lighter than what you're trying to focus on, I promise you that the subject you're trying to take a picture on is going to be dark, because everything that this chip looks at is in comparison to other things in the same picture. So if there's something else in the picture that's a lot brighter, you're not going to be able to get a good shot of the specific thing you're trying to take a picture of. I hope this explains it a little bit, but this is why most of the time they say put the light behind you, because if the light is shining onto the object that you're taking a picture of, then first of all your object is well lit, which is always important, but second of all this bright light is not behind your object or inside your picture, which messes up with the sensor and actually makes the sensor go to the opposite range. Okay? Try to remember that when you're trying to take a picture of somebody, make the light come from the side, make the light come from behind you onto the subject, but try not to have the light behind the subject itself. Okay? And there are tricks for how to get around that. Like, for example, if you want to take a picture of sunset, you're kind of not in a good place to have the light be behind you because you want the sun in there, but you want somebody in front of the sunset. So let's say your mom is in front of the sunset and you want to take a picture where both your mom and the sunset are relatively clear. There are tricks to make that work, and oftentimes they involve flash, what's called a fill flash, and we'll talk about that in a different week. But unless you're stuck in a situation like that, I highly recommend to try and make sure that the light is not behind your subject, or that there isn't something really, really, really bright behind your subject, so that your subject ends up getting darker. Alright? Thanks a lot. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and I'll be happy to answer it. Have a great week.